Do you feel the vibes?
What's up, YouTube? It's Carolina Calvin coming back to another video, and as you can see in the title, I'm going to be talking about John Wall and why he thinks the NBA is softer now. Just to clarify everything he said, there was an article on CSN Mid-Atlantic. They cover the Ravens, they cover the Redskins, of course the Wizards, the Capitals. So they cover those teams in that area. And John Wall was asked earlier this week. It was just in the interview, and he was talking about the games that he's missed. Then of course he was talking about, because that's becoming a thing this season, where guys are missing. Guys who are healthy, at least that we know of, are missing games. Especially you got some big marquee matchups where star players aren't playing, and I think that's doing a disservice to the fans. Before I even give my opinion, I'm gonna pretty much say what everything. Just everything that was quoted from the John Wall interview. First thing he said, that's the difference between that's the difference about our league now. It's kind of gotten a little softer. And that's when he was asked, comparing guys missing games when they're healthy. Of course, he's not entirely for that. He also goes on to say, I'm not the type of guy who wants to sit down and rest. I think you owe it to the fans, which as of course I mentioned that. They paid money to come see us play. That's how a professional goes out there and competes. If nothing is hurt, you can go play. He goes on to say, this is the last thing he said, I miss games. I miss games I didn't want to miss in the past because I was injured. I'm making for the time I can make up. You've seen him in the past. He's had to deal with injuries. Last year he was having issues with his knees. But these are problems, these are injuries. You expect guys to miss games from injuries, and that kind of goes into my point. The reasons I see a guy should sit out. One, we just mentioned injuries. Obviously, that is the number one thing guys miss injuries for in any sport. Injuries. Second, I think like a family emergency. For instance, the situation with Al Horford and the birth of his child. People gave him a lot of shit for missing that game. I don't understand why. Family still fucking comes first. So I get why he missed that game. So family emergencies definitely take precedence over playing in an NBA game. Third, I would say older players, because I know people are going to be like, oh, well, the Spurs usually sit a lot of their guys. Well, in the past, they sit guys like Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan was 39, 40 last season. He was missing. They were sitting him out. I understand that. So you're saying with a guy like Ginobili. I understand resting old players, but I'm going to tell you who John Wall was fucking talking about. He was talking about Kyrie Irving and LeBron James. These two guys who have missed games. They missed last night's game against the Clippers. It's not as bad as the situation with the Spurs Golden State Warriors game, where at least the Spurs, you can say, they had some guys with injuries. Kawhi Leonard was dealing with the injury. A nagging injury he's had most of the season. And LaMarcus Aldridge had it's called heart arrhythmia. His heart had a regular beat. They said he wasn't going to be there. The doctor said he was clearly going to be out in that game. So I get that. But Steve Kerr rested Klay Thompson, Curry, and Draymond Green. Rested all those guys. And, like I said, the Spurs didn't have their two-star guys. So you had a lot of role players playing. That's a big marquee matchup. You got two teams with the best record in the NBA. It's a game that people really wanted to see. And guess what? People felt as though they were cheated. And I'm pretty sure those tickets at the time, for season pass holders, pretty sure they're expensive, for a Golden State team that has high hopes. And, you couldn't get one of the biggest matchups of the season. Well, you couldn't get the full experience of the biggest matchup in the season. Like I said, last night, the Clippers game, Cleveland headed to LA to play the Clippers. Big game. People want to see LeBron. They want to see Kyrie. They want to see those guys compete against Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, Chris Paul. You didn't get to see that because they rested LeBron, Curry, and Kevin Love, who Kevin Love just recently came back, but they rested all those guys. That's what John Wall's referring to. Guys these guys are clearly healthy because They play in the games like they play against the Pistons. Not as big of a matchup. Not a game you don't have to try as hard in. He missed that game. He played those games. And it seems like, with Kerr, Steve Kerr doing it, it seems like more teams are going to start doing that. They're going to start resting their star players. And like I said, especially in the big matchup games, because it seems like that's what they're more often likely to do. And I think they're going to claim what they're doing, what the Spurs doing, but they're resting young players, not old players. And I get it. John Wall's the type of guy. He plays 110%. He wants to play in games. He's missed games that he's wanted to play in because of injuries. He wants to play in every game that he's healthy. Dude goes out there and plays 110%. And, that's the same thing I say about a guy like Westbrook. He plays 110%, at least on offense. But defense is a whole nother fucking story. But he plays hard. And you never see him complain about how many games in the season, how many minutes he has to play, how many back-to-backs there are. You'll never see guys like Westbrook. You'll never see guys like John Wall complain about shit. Kawhi, you never see them guys complain about shit like that. But LeBron, he's crying about 82 games. He cries about preseason. You don't even play in preseason. He cries about back-to-backs and all that garbage. Like, dude, these other guys aren't complaining, and they got less help than you do. The guys go out there, they play basketball. I know recently John Wall said something about technical. They ain't got nothing to do with playing. He feels as though he's getting a lot of BS technicals. That's an entirely different thing. But crying about how many minutes you're playing, how many games you're playing, I've never seen a guy looking at the history of the game complain about how many games they're playing. And LeBron's honestly the first guy I've seen do it. If you can point out another guy that did it, if you point out another superstar that did it, please let me know, because I don't remember. And that in itself to me is soft. That was another thing I wanted to cover, because I'm pretty much done with that. I'm gonna have that article linked down at the bottom. But the other thing I want to talk about is the lack of competitiveness in you see in a lot of players, and this is mainly referring to the All-Star game. I'm not gonna talk about the season as a whole, because I think guys, when they are out there, they do compete for the most part. Maybe not on defense, as you can see in the points per games, that teams are allowing. But I do think guys compete for the most part when they're out there. The All-Star game. I know this is weeks past, but I never got a chance to talk about it, at least on my channel. That All-Star game, All-Star weekend was garbage. Dunk contest, 3-point contest, the All-Star game itself, and any other crap that they showed, garbage. Usually what people, the two big events that people want to go see is the dunk contest. First and foremost, we want to see dunk contest, especially after last year's. It was great. This year's was garbage. And the All-Star game. But the All-Star game has went to shit. To put it blankly, it went to shit. I believe it was the last 4. It could be maybe the last 3. But the last few All-Star games, each consecutive All-Star game, they've broken the record for points in the All-Star game. Now, you can't expect the guys to go out there and play 110% like they're going to win the championship. Hell no. But it's for the fans. And I don't know about, these newer fans, they're different. I want to see guys compete. I want to see, the alleys and all the other shit. That's fine. But I want to see guys compete on the defensive end. Go back and look at, and these are 2 All-Star games that I've seen recently. Obviously, you could probably find others. But go back and look at the 2001 All-Star game and look at those guys competing on the defensive end. Guys getting back on defense. Guys even committing fouls. Go back and look at that. And that is 100 times more entertaining than what we've gotten in an All-Star game in the last few years. Last few years, All-Star game has been garbage. Guys are, pretty much layup lines. Guys are just jacking up a bunch of, all you see is threes and dunks. That's all you see. Guys jacking up a bunch of threes, get a wide open dunk. And it seems like Now, this is something obviously I can't, but it seems like you saw a guy like Westbrook. He was playing hard in the All-Star game. Giannis Antetokounmpo was playing hard. John Wall. Well, John Wall wasn't in the All-Star game. I'm sorry, but when he's been there in the past, he plays hard. But it just seems like guys like that were being ridiculed. Now, obviously, that's something you probably can't like go back and look at. But it just seems like just from looking at it, guys like that, because they were playing hard, were being ridiculed when these other guys are just laying back, getting a paycheck. But I think that doesn't necessarily speak for, I guess, competitiveness overall in the league, which there is a problem, but it's not as big as what I saw in the All-Star game. But that was the only thing I wanted to talk about, the All-Star game and just how shit it is. And you got to blame a lot of these players, man. They the ones that go out there and do, choose to do all that crap. I mean, they come together and be like, man, we're just going to half-ass it. We're going to go get our paycheck. We're going to have a couple dunks, couple layups, couple highlights so they can put on ESPN or Fox Sports. We're going to go home. Don't give a shit about the fans. Fans? Fuck them. But anyways, I'm done. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe. Thanks for watching.